them that they're walking. There's nothing, just keep that and that they stick to it.
And there are always good people
Well, you can fly in and pick him up on Friday,
from.
bring him home Friday, he'll spend Saturday with us, and I'm flying back on Sunday.
From what? And wild hogs.
So for man, donkeys to work.
Hang on.
And I have the participants, let me get back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, participants for executive session.
I think it's Josh.
Okay.
There's a lot of wildlife going on.
Yep. It's Ed and he's the computer.
Okay, terrific.
Really?
Time being 5:06, we are convened into open session. Calling this emergency meeting to order, closed session. Town council convened in closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Section 551.071, to discuss matters relating to consultation with town attorney as follows. Consultation with town attorney regarding ordinance 688-20, declaring a local state of disaster due to a public health emergency. Time being 5:06, we are convened into closed session. Sylvia, would you go mention to Chief that we do have Gloria sitting there if they want to go join her? Thank you, ma'am.
By the lobby. Give him a couple masks.
Unfortunately, we don't have any chairs sitting out there anymore.
Hi, guys have voted in such a way that takes away all the trust that I thought y'all had in me. I'm just so disappointed. It bothers me.
So we understand, let me finish this next. We understand that you do not want to have any requirements from any civic authority over your business and how many people you have in there and whether there's social distancing or anything else. We understand that you believe that you should have that complete authority. So does every bar in this town, or every bar in this state that's doing it. So does every other restaurant.
Bill, I have space.
Had to limit their space.
I have a lot more space than a bar. And the fact that I have employees now with 3 restaurants, 360 employees, and I've opened 2 restaurants in the last 6 months during the pandemic. How many people have I laid off? Do you want to answer that? 0. I've not laid off a single person. My recent numbers, I had 209 employees at Marty B's before this order went into effect on Friday. Have I laid anyone off? Not a single person. And so now you're going to tell me that I have to be restricted with what you just said, and now I'm going to be forced to not allow people to work. So now not only you're disrupting my livelihood, you're disrupting the livelihood of all these people that work for me. I just hired 15 people today. And I'm appalled. I don't know what else to say.
I would tell you, no,
I
please.
just want to ask a question. Marty, were you expecting to go more than 50%? I'm not really sure what the expectation was,
Jacqueline, I want to follow the governor's orders.
which is 100.
No, that's not accurate. The 100
That is your
represents
interpretation.
rallies, it represents parades, it represents concerts. I was given clarity on that today from the Attorney General's office, and I'm pretty sure he called you, he called me, because I want to make sure that we're all under clear understanding of what the interpretation is. Shame on the governor for not making it more clear, but it's my understanding that tomorrow, in writing, it's going to be provided to the town of Bartonville. But you all have already spoken. What I want to do is maintain safety for my customers, space the tables 6 feet or beyond apart, have all my staff wearing masks, which I've already done off this past Monday. But have you ever worn a mask for 6 to 8 hours outside at 100-degree heat? That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what my staff's going to be doing. And I'm going to do it because it's the right thing, and the perception of the public is that they view masks more favorably. Well, I'm a smart business owner. I want them to perceive me being safe. But I want to be able to operate my business like I want to and what's smart for me, not like you want to.
Okay, and I understand, Marty B's is special. Unlike every other business in the state, they get to operate exactly like they want to when other businesses have been closed down. Okay, we're here to work with you. Right now, as the law reads, you're going to be in violation of the law and probably have been since Monday with the outdoor space.
I haven't
Our
violated
entire-
any,
what's that?
I haven't violated any law yet, Bill.
You
How did you
haven't,
say
you
that?
haven't, since Monday, you haven't had more than 100 people sitting outside.
I have not had more than 100 people sitting outside since Monday. That's correct.
Okay, so we were trying to, the reason we put this in place was to try to get you ready for this weekend and make sure that you were in violation of the law. And we went to the 50%. So if you just take it what the governor ordered and say outside space, we've gone to 50%. I honestly am flabbergasted as to if your expectation is the town's just going to say, Marty, we're going to enforce the rules with every other business in town with the exception of you. I think that's an unrealistic expectation.
I'm so confused. I don't even know what rule you're going to enforce. What other patio seats 100 people? There's no other person to do it. The fact that I have space, and that to me is the best example you could possibly have. The fact that a restaurant has space to space people out, that's what everybody wants. They want you to have social distancing and space. I have that, and y'all are going to penalize me for it. And Bill, I love you, and you've been nothing but fair to me. And I have so much respect for all of you. But it's not about that. It's about just giving me the freedom to operate my business for God's sake. If now there's ever been a time to give business some authority, now is the time, especially with the history that I've had with you all. But y'all have already voted. What are we going to do about it now? There's nothing I can do but sit here and continue to complain and talk about it, because y'all have already voted and didn't even give me a chance to discuss it before you voted. Nor did anyone else have an opportunity to stand up and speak on behalf of it. Y'all voted, you made up your minds without having a single solitary person, and shame on y'all for that. I don't know what else to say.
So a couple of things. One is we voted to give you some flexibility until we see what the AG's office comes up with. Because again, them stating things verbally versus what goes in writing are two very different things.
So here's the question. Can this be overturned?
Can it be changed?
Can it be changed?
Anything can be changed. And again, this council will adjust off of,
And Bridget, Clay, Jacqueline, Jeff. I can't believe it. Have I not been a good example? What is it that I needed to do at the town of Bartonville to prove to you all that I'm gonna do the right thing as it relates to this issue we're under right now? That I haven't already done. I've created 9 videos when this whole thing happened and outlined specifically what we're doing at Marty B's to maintain safety. We have gotten kudos. We just got recognized by the Chamber of Commerce last week as a small business of the month for all the efforts we took to maintain safety in the month of April when I was closed down, fighting for survival. I can't believe it. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed.
Marty, I hear you.
No, you don't, Jacqueline or
No, it's me.
Bridget. You just voted.
Well, I hear you now, and here's the deal, the psychology of all of this, the sacrifices everyone has had to make has been huge, right? I think the US, Texas, Bartonville, we're all new to this, right? I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And I appreciate you speaking up. I feel you. I had to close my business completely. So I feel that. So I'm still unclear on what would work for you. Are you just saying no restrictions? Like where's your heart in that?
What are you wanting?
Well, I've said it 3 or 4 times tonight. What I want is to be able to do what's right for my business, make sure I have at least 6-foot distance between every single seat I have at Marty B's. We took tables out of the dining room today. We took tables out of the patio today. None of you have seen that. You only saw the picture that Bill showed you today earlier before I made those improvements. Some of the improvements I'd already texted Bill. So I just want to be able to follow the rules as outlined by the governor. And correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 things have been spoken. Denton County and the town of Bartonville have said repeatedly that they don't want their restrictions to be beyond what the governor's orders are. Right? That's what y'all continue to say. But yet today, we went in direct opposition to what the governor's orders were. And that's why I'm frustrated.
Marty, let me say, we're not. Your interpretation of the governor's order versus our town attorney's interpretation of the governor's order and many of his peers is the outside space is an outside gathering, which means you're limited to 100. You found an interpretation in somebody that
I'm only going on what the Attorney General's office, the final authority on the order is who called today and gave me the information. Who else do we go to beyond him?
It's the order the way it's written. And again, they have not published anything.
Okay, let me jump in real quick. Marty, I brought up the fact to take no action. And the problem that we ran into is based upon the interpretation of town attorney and other attorneys associated with him. He said that if we did not take action, then you would be in violation. And so for me to be exposed that way, the discussion came and said that we would then expand the ability for you to have more people than what the current law interpretation of the city attorney says. So the intent here was to give you more.
And Jeff, I'm with you, but that's one person's interpretation. And I've had multiple interpretations given to me today, and it's contrary to what the town attorney said.
And I hear you, but, and I have to agree, I'm not a proponent of doing it, but when the town attorney says, this is what it is, this is what we need to do, then we have to, as a town, we have to drive off of that interpretation until other ones are foreseen. And that was the only reason why it was done. And it was done to give you, in our interpretation, more room, more capacity, not to fall foul of the governor's ordinance. So that's why it was done.
So you're gonna change it, or is there an opportunity to change it so that I can operate my business as a smart business owner and do what's right by the public?
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
You may, Jack.
How many, if doing your 6-foot thing outside distance, how many can you seat outside with 6 feet apart?
Probably, I'm gonna say 350.
So let's talk about let's talk about what that That's 650 is. That's 6 feet between tables. Many of those tables will seat 10 people. If you look at what happens on Saturdays, you know, everybody may start at a table, they start congregating. You can't really control that. The more people you've got coming in there and doing that. Again, the intention was this gave you enough flexibility until we saw what the AG's office published. I talked to them today, absolutely. But they have not published anything because the conversations that they may have had with the restaurant association and with you was, yeah, this is what we think. And then when I had a conversation with them to say, writing, give it to us in writing, because I've got the authority to call an emergency session at any time. If I find out we're doing that, they have to post on the writing, but they specifically stated they needed to run all the tracks. Because now they need to go, you got one person's opinion out of the AG office. Now they've got to go and get approval to put something in writing. And that's always the key, because it's easy to open their mouths, but putting it in writing makes it, that's actually their legal interpretation. And then that carries significantly more weight.
Well, keep in mind that at Marty B's, there's 4 patio sections. There's the rooftop, there's the south patio that we have recently created as dining space, where before that used to be cornhole. There's the front dining space when you walk into my facility, and then there's the space over to the north side of the restaurant. So you may drive by Marty B's on a Friday night and Saturday night, see the parking lot full, not knowing that I have 108 employees working, some who park off campus, some who park on campus, walking to my establishment, and I may have 600 people there, and you won't even feel it because everyone is so spaced out. Why are they spaced out? Because we care about our customer safety and we care about our employee safety. That's why they're spaced out.
Mr. Mayor, it's my understanding that I think, with Bob and you as well, there is going to be something coming down in writing, and that's right. Right now, we go by interpretations of the county or the state or attorney general.
The state attorney general said that they are going to issue, told me earlier today, that they are going to issue an opinion. Now, it's just that, it's an opinion. It's not force of law, but at least it gives us something to go off of to say, okay, here's how we're going to. But the other thing that they told me is, you know, I said, why is there nothing in here about outdoor space? And their comment was because in many areas, the local areas actually put capacities on the outside space. We don't do that here because the fire marshal only puts it on the inside space. But again, we get back to when we've had these conversations before about your outside space capacity is roughly 600. And we said half of that, you're still at roughly 300. I get where you're coming from. I get your desire to be able to run your business with zero interference. That is, you know, right now by the governor's order. I mean, again, governor shut down tubing, the governor shut down bars, the governor shut down. Again, everybody's working in the confines of interference. We want to work with you, but we want to make sure that there's a public safety, that everybody sees that there's public safety, that there's a focus in there. Marty B's gets way too much attention, not just in Bartonville. It showed it again. You know, unfortunately, you did, as we talked about before. When you first stood in front of us, you said you wanted to make Marty B's a destination. You've been successful, which is why it gets brought up in county calls, not by anybody in this town. It gets brought up in all of these different places. So there is a lot of attention to play on that. Let us give you enough flexibility with this right now, except the fact that we want to do the best with you, best for you. This wasn't written up real well as far as the discussion goes. Let's get their opinion. We can then have another session and we'll run this a little bit again. The agenda, unfortunately, is a little bit off on being able to do that. And we'll make this a full public participation. And the next thing, bring you in, have you talk, and go ahead and go from there. But where we feel like this is, Marty, is this was not an intent to make it restrictive. The intent was, and that was the conversation happened in the last half hour, was to make it less restrictive than what the current interpretation is. That's a general interpretation of what the governor put out. And to do something, the reason we held it this quickly is because we wanted to put something in place before the weekend hit. Because we knew you're going to be busy going forward. That was the intent. I get where we're at, and I fully understand that. But that was the intent. That's why we're having a meeting on a Wednesday night, because the speculation is you're going to be crowded on Thursday because most people are off on Friday. When we get that order, we'll go through, have a conversation with with the town attorney, and I pulled the council back together. It's not an intention to be restrictive on your business, but we do have an obligation. We do have an obligation in our responsibility to the community for those that live here and those that are coming in to also keep an eye on some of this.
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
Remember when we closed down the economy, and I had to do to-go only. We opened back up at 25%, which meant I could serve 62 customers in my restaurant. Guess how many I could serve on my patio? At 25%. The whole thing. As long as I maintain social distancing, which you yourself came out and approved. We went to 50%. Guess how many people I could serve inside my dining room? 128 or 134. The same I can serve now. Back then, when the world was falling apart, guess how many people I could serve on my patio? The same as I do now.
No, I have to disagree with you because you and I had a conversation on that. I had the fire marshal come in and said, if you were going to take this same physical space and it was indoors, what would you put the capacity at? And that's where the capacity came up at 600. And that's what we talked about the first time of it being when it was 50%. I don't remember what discussion we had on 25%. 50%.
25% is when we had the discussion.
And we went to 25% of what. Now I remember exactly. You weren't using the upstairs area, and we agreed to 25% of the 600 for your spacing downstairs. And then we went to 50%. So we were using those numbers before. This is not a new thing. And again, I come by and walk through your restaurant. You know that. I mean, I'll visit you on the weekends, and everything looks good. Or if there's an issue, we have a conversation and take care. We also don't want you to be in a position where you have to start enforcing things with your clientele, because you can't. I mean, again, you can't tell somebody who's giving you money that you can't. You're congregating too many people.
Which is why I have armed security at Marty B's on Friday and Saturday from 6 to 11, and he will do exactly what I need him to do to help me enforce it. But puts that on him and not on me as a business.
But I will say, even visiting you this last Saturday, I mean, you look at what was happening outside. Now, again, this was before the new order got put out, but you had groups of 20 people that were just, boom. They chose to do that. You didn't see them that way, but that's what naturally ends up happening. And the more people you have there, the more likely it is to happen. Again, it is what it is at this juncture. Let's see what we get from the Attorney General's office. Obviously, you'll get it through the Restaurant Association, and we can share it with you as well. And then we'll go to the next steps as to what makes sense. We do not want to disadvantage your business. You and I have had multiple conversations, some of them friendlier than others, always with respect, always understanding where each other's coming from. And you work with us, okay? So we haven't had to put things in place, which has always been our goal. We'd rather have a conversation with everybody than to ever get to the point that it's we're legislating, we're mandating, because that's not what we want to do. But again, Marty, the intent is, this was a little off from what I thought it was going to be because of the way it was published. My mistake, okay? Absolutely my mistake. The next time we do this, absolutely will ensure there's public participation on this before any vote happens. That's my commitment to you.
Bill, can I say something?
Please.
I just want you to know, I feel like you jumped the gun today, that you should reverse the decision until the AG statement comes down, let him run his business, and then have a public participation meeting. You guys have it within your power to reverse your decision today. Let him run his business. He's doing a great job. I don't know anybody in this town that loves people more than Marty does.
So he's breaking the law.
That's your interpretation.
And our interpretation at this juncture is what the interpretation is. The governor's office has not.
There is so much.
It'll never stand.
There's so much gray area. I can tell you, I watch this guy run his business. I'm reading the same stuff everybody else is reading. I really think you guys as a town are jumping the gun. And I think you should reverse the decision until the AG statement comes down and then make a really quality decision. So you're not perceived as overreaching into local business because you don't want that either.
So again, I have to, vehemently in this particular case, disagree with you. It's an interpretation of what's written, but if you read the law specifically states gathering of 100 people. What we've done is allow him to go more. And in fact, if he's saying his statement earlier is he hasn't had over 100 people out there, it's not going to affect him tonight.
I'd like to see you guys, somebody make a motion and vote on it again right now. I think some hearts have been changed today. And I would like to see how you guys feel about putting this off until the AG statement comes down, and then you can make, because this isn't, Bill, this isn't your forum. This is a community ordeal.
So right now, again, regardless of what you think, and regardless of what Marty's feeling on, he's basing it on an interpretation that has not been published.
It's his to risk.
What's that?
It's his to risk. He doesn't need your protection from the state laws. It's his to risk. And he said it perfectly today. He cares more about his business and public perception is the court of public opinion that's going to really bring the ruling down. And I think you guys jumped in early. I'm just being honest. That's my honest opinion.
Okay. So let me assure you that if you listen to the interpretation of the county, if you listen to the reason we're doing this is to allow him more flexibility than what he has. Because right now, the county's interpretation, you're saying the AG, which hasn't published a thing, the county's interpretation, which is on record.
Has the county published it?
Is
An interpretation of the 100-person order that you're speaking about, has the county published?
So to your point, right now, until something gets published that we can look at from
So they
somebody,
haven't published it.
it's the interpretation of our lawyer.
So nothing's published.
Okay, it is published. The law says a gathering of 100 people.
For rallies, parades, and concerts.
That's your interpretation. That's not what it says. So again,
Are we gonna vote? Are you gonna do the motion to vote? That's the question.
you don't call motions to vote. The motion's already happened and the vote's already happened.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed in my town right now. I mean, you guys jumped the gun. You guys really totally jumped the gun. I'm just disappointed in you guys right now. I really am. I love you guys to death. You guys are my neighbors, but you know, it's moments like this where there's, to me, a community like this. It's in Bartonville, Texas, that a handful of people can come together and say, hey, this is what we think is best for you. And I mean,
See, and again, and that's where I'm a little, quite frankly, frustrated with both of you. There's a pandemic going on. Businesses all over the country are being affected. You haven't been shut down. What we've got
I've been shut down for 6 weeks, Bill, where I was forced to go only.
Okay, absolutely. So,
But
right now, we have a situation where it is our understanding of the rules, by our town attorney, as well as by the county, that represented is 100 people. We have come forward to say, we don't want to limit it to 100 people. We want to limit it to 200 people. If we get something from the AG going forward that changes that, we can call a session, come back together and determine what's going on. I think all we've done is been fair and put in a situation so that Marty's not being put in a position to break the law. And that's what we've done. You may call it multiple different things, but it's your interpretation. Okay, but we can't sit there and say, okay, let's have a vote right now from every citizen in town as to what their interpretation is. We have to go what our legal representation is, and we have to go what the county is telling us. Both of which are saying it's 100 people downstairs, and we want to loosen that up. That's why we came in here today. That's why you and I have done the work that we've done. That's what we want to loosen it up to 200. If we get new information, we'll pull back together and have that conversation. And again, we'll have a greater piece of public participation. You still have the issue of, what is it now? And allowing you to run your business at more than 100 until we get that interpretation from the AG. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to sit there and restrict you, but we want to put something in place that gives you more flexibility until we get something from the AG. And hopefully, again, their commitment was to try to provide something tonight. I haven't had a chance to check to see if it's in here. We'll take a look at that. That will be shared with the council, and we'll pull together as appropriate and go to the next one. And again, there will be public participation on that one, Marty, and we'll make sure you know about it.
I sure appreciate you guys letting me express myself. Hopefully we get to do this again in a few days. And
Thanks for not kicking me out.
Marty, again, we're all friends. We understand it, and we understand what you've got going with your business and fully fit. We're all going through a very strange time. So, and I think you know that. So,
Just
all right.
remember that if my business fails, it doesn't cost y'all anything. That's all you gotta think about.
Okay, is there anyone would like to address the council on anything else? Okay, thank you. Time being 6:15, this meeting is adjourned.